Today it is the Caucasus Through Time Network greatest pleasure to host a seminar dedicated to maritime archaeology in South Caucasus and neighboring regions. So the Caucasus is a vast land bridge surrounded by seas, giving the rise to large river systems. According to available data, shipping and navigation have been known to the inhabitants of the Caucasus since ancient times. Maritime archaeology in the South Caucasus and neighboring areas such as Turkey, Iran, however, remains a fragmented, critical field for understanding ancient connectivity, trade, and seafaring traditions. And the seminar hosted by CTTN focuses on the recent archaeological investigations. We highlight key discoveries, methodological approaches, and so on. And we want to draw on recent fieldwork and archival research. So the seminar contributes to a broader understanding of the region's maritime past and its significance in wider context. We warmly welcome our 5 or even 6 speakers, moderator, and all participants. And I have I think there is a link in the chat box to share documents of today's presentation with all relevant informations. So, Magda?
Hello, everyone. I'm going to briefly introduce you our network. So we are the young scholars from PhD and the postdoc students working on the Caucasus. The aim of the network is to bring together regional archaeologists, anthropologists, historians, and create the friendly environment for the discussions on ongoing research in the Caucasus and neighboring regions. And the scholars, we provide a space for the young scholars to showcase their work and thereby facilitate knowledge exchange among early career researchers and working in the Caucasus region itself.
Some basic rules, house rules. Please mute yourself, put your microphone off when you are not speaking. If you want to ask a question, either put in the chat box or there is a raise hand button, and so you can ask your question yourself. Also, please note that the event will be recorded and made available in our YouTube channel and used on various social media channels. Also visit our other webinars on YouTube. We got a bunch of them already. And it is my pleasure to present today's moderator. The event will be moderated by Professor Dr. Hakan Öniz, who is head of the Division of Mediterranean Underwater Cultural Heritage of Akdeniz University. He is not only his moderator and also will present his work. So Professor Dr. Hakan Öniz graduated from the Department of Art History and Archaeology of Eastern Mediterranean University and finished his master's and PhD in underwater archaeology at Seljuk University of Konya in Turkey. He is the director of the Underwater Cultural Heritage in CHMAS and scientific committee member of ICOMOS. In Turkey, he is also one of the founders and first coordinator of UNESCO Underwater Archaeological Network. So really very sweeting moderator today. And we are happy to have you here, and the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. First of all, welcome all the colleagues, and again, thank you very much for this very important organization to our colleagues who are presently in England. I'm very happy to start to talk on underwater archaeology, of course. And before my presentation, we have several distinguished presentations from different countries. I have to note that our colleague from Iran, Hossein Tofighian, will not be able to join us, but he sent his presentation as a video. Then we will watch his video when his time comes. Now the first speakers from Armenia, and I would like to invite Avetis Grigoryan. Then actually shortly we can read. Avetis Grigoryan is a medieval archaeologist and historian. He graduated from the Faculty of History at Yerevan State University and currently works as a researcher at the Institute of Archaeology and Ethnography at the Armenian National Academy of Science. Welcome, Avetis.
Thank you very much, dear colleagues. As you know, Armenia is a landlocked and mountainous country. Nevertheless, there are numerous submerged and sunken historical and cultural monuments. Some of these underwater monuments are located in Lake Sevan, which is the largest freshwater basin in the Near East. The shores of Lake Sevan have been inhabited since ancient times and are rich with monuments dating from the early Bronze Age to the late Middle Ages. Lake Sevan was also navigable for small boats. The other part of submerged monument is located at the bottom of reservoirs built during the Soviet period, which we will also discuss in our presentation. As you know, against the backdrop of global climate warming, the constructions of reservoirs worldwide, particularly in the Near East, began activity in the middle of 20th century and continues at the rate pace of this day. However, despite the significant economic benefits, they cause enormous and irreversible damage to archaeological landscape, which are often found in fertile river valley zone where reservoirs are typically constructed. One of the best example of the navigative impact of reservoirs on monuments is perhaps Türkiye, where hundreds of monuments have been irreversibly lost. However, there are many such examples in other countries of the Middle East as well. During the Soviet period, particularly in the 1960s to 1980s, numerous reservoirs were also constructed in Armenia, causing many historical and archaeological monuments to be submerged. Among them, 4 reservoirs stand out in particular, the Ahurian, Aparan, Tolors, and Berkaber reservoirs. The Ahurian reservoir is located on the Armenian-Turkish border. The design work began in 1973 and construction was completed in 1982. As a result of reservoirs construction, dozens of villages of both the Armenian and Turkish sites, along with hundreds of monuments, were submerged. Of particular significance among them is the medieval Jirapi Bridge, which once led to the medieval capital of Armenia, Ani. The bridge was destroyed in 1807 during the Russo-Turkish War. The reservoir was constructed joint by Armenian and Turkish specialists. During the construction, Armenian architects raised the issue to studying and relocating the medieval bridge, but they failed to reach an agreement with the Turkish side, and the bridge was completely submerged underwater. On the Armenian side of the reservoir era, before the flooding, numerous monuments were excavated. Some of them, including 2 churches, a medieval caravanserai, and other monuments, were removed and restored in nearby secure location. Next is the Aparam Reservoir, the design work for which began in 1958, and its construction was completely in 1967. As a result of the reservoir's construction, 3 villages and numerous monuments were submerged underwater. A portion of the monuments was excavated and removed from the reservoir area. However, the early medieval Paul Peter Church was now relocated and was not relocated and was submerged underwater. Next reservoir rich in monuments is the Belkabe Reservoir, located on the Armenian-Azerbaijani border. The design work for this reservoir began in 1974, and its construction was completed in 1980. Among the monuments submerged underwater, the ruins of medieval caravanserai and 3 bridges are particularly noteworthy. During the construction phase of this reservoir, around about 3rd tombs dating back to the Middle Bronze Age discovered in that area were also excavated. The studies conducted on the Azerbaijani side of the reservoir and monuments submerged underwater remain unknown to us. The last reservoir we would like to address is the Tolos Reservoir, located in the Syunik province of the Republic of Armenia. It was constructed in 1976. 2 villages, along with their numerous monuments, were submerged under the reservoir. Although many cross-stones and other monuments were successfully relocated outside, but reservoir area, 2 churches were nevertheless left submerged in the reservoir. Now I give on the floor my colleague Anna Martikyan to continue our presentation.
Thank you, dear Avetis. Thank you, dear colleagues, other sides of our screen. Okay, if just a minute.
From here, maybe. Okay.
I want to speak about Armenian submerged monuments in Lake Sevan and medieval Armenian submerged monuments in the world. If the construction of reservoirs has led to monuments being submerged underwater since the mid of 20th century, the monuments and archaeological significant objects in Lake Sevan can be dated thousands of years. All monuments that have been permanently or periodically submerged underwater for at least 100 years are classified by UNESCO as part of cultural underwater heritage, the preservation of which is enshrined in the 2001 Convention on the Protection of Underwater Cultural Heritage. Underwater studies shows that many monuments on the bottom of Lake Sevan have been preserved submerged due to rising water level or shipwrecks. Lake Sevan is now, I want to tell briefly about Lake Sevan. Lake Sevan is the largest lake in the Republic of Armenia. It's divided into two parts by an underwater ridge. Great Sevan, with an average depth of which is 30 meters, and Small Sevan, average depth of which is 51 meters. Sevan is located at an altitude of about 1,900 meters above the sea level. Sevan has consistently been the focus of attention for Armenian and foreign geologists, historians, archaeologists, biologists, botanists, and researchers from other fields. Okay. Evidence of ancient navigation in Lake Sevan is attended by numerous medieval written sources, Armenian inscriptions, anchors found along the shores, and the remains of sunken boats discovered at the bottom of Lake Sevan. Oh, okay. Now we conducted exploratory studies in Lake Sevan in 2015 to 2016. As a result of our dives, we discovered prehistoric animal bones, remains of wooden boats from the 17th to 20th centuries, and iron ship, the identity of which we plan to investigate further in the future. Stone anchors of boats have been found at various depths and the shores of the lake. Near the shore of this settlement, Shogakat settlement, at the depth of about 10 meters, ruins of monumental structure were observed. Here you can see a row of neatly arranged walls. Nearby, there are stone objects resembling containers. Just a minute. Likely used for oil extraction. The area was also contained stone slabs resembling pavement fragments. In this newly discovered monument area, we also documented carved stones and many other sculptures. One of these you can see like a head of sheep. Now let's move to another part of the lake. This boat was discovered by rescuer by Melkonian in 2020 at a depth of 16 meters. In collaboration with the Institute of Archaeology and Ethnography of the National Academy of Science of the Republic of Armenia, divers from the Armed Diving Club studied the sunken boat in 2020. It was 10 meters long and 2 meters wide, with planks joined by iron nails. Human bones found near the newly discovered boat in the Artanish archaeological site on the eastern shore of Lake Sevan were subjected to radiocarbon analysis, dating them to the 17th to 20th century. The different parts of Lake Sevan, rescuers periodically find ancient boat anchors, pottery, and bones of various animals. Near another part of the lake called the Artis Shore, we filmed an iron ship in 2016. Based on preliminary comparison with archival photos, it's believed to be the Soviet-era ship named Mikoyan. This summer, we plan to study this sunken ship in more detail. Okay. I would also like to briefly mention another lake in the region, Lake Van, which has been navigable since ancient times. As we know, Armenians have lived in the Lake Van basin since ancient times and built numerous monuments, some of which have been preserved underwater due to rising water level. By studying the information provided by medieval Armenian historians and researchers, we have completed an approximate map of submerged monuments in Lake Van. Here in the Adil section are images of submerged monuments. The ruins of the fortress of Arske and nearby tombstone with Armenian inscriptions and carvings that we encountered while diving with Turkish divers. If possible, we would be happy to collaborate with our Turkish counterparts, share information from Armenian sources, and organize joint diving expeditions. This photo that you see, this one, first one is a photo by Tasil Ceyran, and the other 3 photos are my photos, which I have done at the Adil site near this Arskes, near this monument. Now, I would also like to add that Armenian merchants' underwater heritage has been preserved in the world's ocean, mainly in the form of the medieval ships. For example, in 2007, a medieval ship was discovered in the Caribbean Sea. After studying it, a team of experts from Indiana University, led by Charles Bicker, announced that it was the Kedach merchant, owned by Armenian merchants, which had been captured by William Kidd, well-known pirate William Kidd. It's known that in the late Middle Age, Armenian merchants played a significant role in international sea routes, transporting gold, silver, silk, spices, and other valuable goods from east to west. In this image, you can see the cannon of the Kedach merchant covered with corals. The footage is by Captain Karen Balayan, who, after studying historical sources and archives, went in search of this ship. However, the fortune of discovering the medieval sunken ship fell to Charles Bicker's team. Finally, I would like to add that Armenian researchers would gladly join underwater research expeditions if invited, not only to conduct excavations, but also to participate in the preservation and restoration of underwater monuments. Thank you for attention.
Thank you, Ms. Grigoryan. Thank you, our colleagues from Armenia, for this interesting presentation. Actually, we can have the questions. Probably we have 5 minutes, and it will be very nice if we ask the questions after each presentation. And I would like to ask to our colleagues who want to ask a question to the speakers. I can start actually ask a question. I really interest your stone anchors. You know, this is one of our important subjects in the Mediterranean, and it will be fantastic if you have the published materials in any journal related to the anchors. I will be very happy to see them if you send by email.
Thank you. Okay. There are many anchors, stone anchors around in Lake Sevan. There are many, and one day we will publish it, I hope.
Okay, it will be very important to see the anchors, because some of them can be Bronze Age, but it could be also the newer. I mean, we also have some stone anchors from medieval period too.
Yeah.
Okay, any questions to the speakers? Okay. Thank you very much. And now I would like to invite the second speakers, Professor Tushabramishvili. I hope my presentation is okay.
So I'll try to speak loudly, okay? All my life I was doing, and I'm still doing Paleolithic. So I'm, how to say, but I'm a new person in this field, underwater archaeology. And first attempt to start underwater archaeology was my attempt was in 2019. And the reasons, and our aims, this is a map of our sites of cultural heritage sites in Georgia. And, of course, for us, more interesting for this time is these sites, of course, which are located on the coastal zone and the sub-zone zones of Georgia. Here you can see some artifacts which are preserved at the Batumi State Museum. There are some amphoras, parts of the different type of ships, anchors, and so on. And this is, for me, it's one of the very interesting artifacts. This is Paleolithic, quite ancient artifact. I don't know what it is, but we will have to study it much better than it is studied for this month. So in 2019, we started, we carried out our expedition from Ilya State University. My university has a scientific ship with scanners, with this boat, motorboat, and base houses, which belong to the Maritime Research Center. So these are the photos from our first expedition for 2019. And here we found there submerged sunken island. Now this photo is taken from the surface from the ship to the Gonio, the direction. This is Gonio, and the distance between Gonio and the island is 1.5 kilometers only. And it's interesting because you know very well that this area is a volcanic area. Sarpi, Gonio, and that part, the neighbor part of Türkiye, of course. And we sampled this island. We took out from the surface of this island. Islands are some samples. And here you can see the profiles which we made with our scanner. This is one of the profiles. This is another profile, and set profile is this. So the surface, the area of the surface is 900 to 800 meters. And then here we have some terraces, 15 meters from the sea level depth is 15 meters, 25 meters, and so on. But here, the deepest point is here. It's 45 meters, and you can see now the location of the island. This is a scanned photo of the surface, and here is located Gonio, village Gonio, which is a resort. Later, my friends and me started to study more detailed some maps, ancient maps, and you can see here on the maps, which are based on the information of ancient Greek authors, and here you can see the island. Also, this is the map of Cellarius. This map belongs to Ortelius, and you can see here islands. And this map is also very interesting because you can see on the digital there is an island, and the name of this island in French, Tombeau d'Apsite. That means Apsite's grave. And you know very well that Apsite was Medea's brother who was killed by Jeyhun. And here you can see the fluctuations of the sea level. And later, because of our results, we were included into the DORS project, Horizon 2020 project, DORS project. DORS, which means developing optimal and open research support for the Black Sea. So, and beneficiary countries are Romania, Bulgaria, Turkey, Georgia, Germany, United Kingdom, and Ukraine, Moldova, Italy, France, Netherlands, Spain, the islands, Spain, Greece, and so on. So here you can see our research objectives. Our objectives were focused on identifying submerged islands and man-made structures, combined historical records, archaeological evidence, and modern geophysical techniques. Survey near Gonio Island to confirm the existence of other water structures, and the expedition was key part of the Horizon 2020 DORS Black Sea Cruise 3-1. So, into the 2024 was organized and managed and organized the expedition with the ship in the frame of this the big project with the ship Mare Nigrum. You know, I hope that you know you have information about Mare Nigrum and our project. So here you can see this is a route of our expedition, and that points where we carried out our studies, researches. So, you know very well that Black Sea level changed from 120 meters to plus 3-4 meters over the last 8 to 9,000 years, exhibiting distinctly glacier static character. The shoreline of the early Exxon Lake, Black Sea, was in the area of the Isobat with a mark of 100 meters. So it should be noted that in 2000, in the Black Sea at the depth of 97 meters at the distance of 25 kilometers from the Turkish city of Sinop. The expedition of Robert Ballard found the remains of a building with dimensions of the 10 to 12 meters, which hypothetically dated back to 7,150 years. This time coincides with the time when the rise in global sea level resulted in the breakthrough of water from the Mediterranean Sea into the Black Sea, which was previously an inland sea, such as the Caspian Sea or the Aral Sea. From this period, the modern coastline of the entire Black Sea, including the coast of Georgia, began to take shape. I don't like to expect to spend your time, but you know that very well that Aquatoria regulation begins, and it was dated back between 2.7 and 2.4 years ago. So it's very important information for us, and we have archaeological sites dating from Mesolithic, then late Bronze Age, to the Middle Ages. I was going to talk about methodology, but maybe I should send you my presentation, and our article will be published in Marine Secretary in Romania very soon, and you can see the all information. And it's really very interesting information of ancient Greek authors like Strabo, Ptolemy, Herodotus, Arian, and others. Procopio, Pesarius, and others. So this is we now. I show you now our results for the expedition 2024. So this ship, Romanian ship, Mare Nigrum, is really very big. It's huge, 90 meters legs of it, and unfortunately, it was impossible to study to conduct the investigation of the surface, because it's quite shallow, as I told you before. The surface is located just in 7 meters from the sea level. But we studied this area, and area of study covers about 0.744 square kilometers of the seabed with depths of 5 centimeters. And main goals were identify geogenic structures, potential submerged settlements. This is this area, 3D and methodology, of course. And it's very interesting and very important that we found there some artifacts. The first find is located between 300 meters from the current short line, where a series of structures were found, some of which exhibited nearly right angle, 90 degrees. And the wall structures, here we have wall structures, are 3 to 8 meters long and about half meters high. They are spread over approximately 150 meters from the north to the south, 60 meters from east to west in an area predominantly covered by soft sediments and water depths of 12 13 meters. Since natural areas usually do not have regular geometric shape, and similar structures have not been found elsewhere in our study area. These are the first candidates for further researches. And second research, second target was identified for the studies located at these coordinates. This target appears to be a small vessel about 20 meters long and 2.3 meters wide. Here you can see, of course, this boat positioned vertically and partially submerged in the ground. It is assumed that this can be a small cargo vessel with a cargo compartment 4.5 meters long and 1.1 meters wide. So it's of course it's very interesting and important find. This is our coastal line of Georgia, and also we found here this point the pieces of wood the wood, and it seems that this wood belonged to the cedar, but unfortunately it is not still not dated, but we will make radical carbon dating as soon as it's possible, of course. And also it's very interesting that seashore has been changed last time, and because of tectonic movements. And for example, the Batumi area is rising up from 11.2 plus minus 1.4 millimeters year. So that's why Gonio Castle, you know, Gonio Castle, of course, now it's located higher than it was located this settlement. Then this settlement of Gonio, because the results of our study show us that first century the territory of Gonio was much bigger, at least as a minimum from 200 to 300 millimeters deeper to the sea. And these are the results of our Polish colleagues who are studying Gonio Castle and with geomorphological researches, the results of geomorphological results. And you can see here how the coastline was changed last to 2,000 years. The Junglaus to 2,000 years. These photos are taken by our divers who are working for National Geographic, and there is another shipwreck, but it's more or less modern. It's from dated back to 18th century or 19th century. But summarizing the results of the expedition, it can be stated that studies of the southern part of the Georgian Black Sea coast near Gonio Island have yielded interesting results in the determining the fluctuations of the Black Sea level in ancient times and the history of the shelf zone of this area and its natural development. Further research should determine the age and cultural background of the possible recorded structures and the recovered vessel. These studies will provide additional evidence for studying the shelf zone of this region and its history of development, and will allow reconstruction of the existing historical landscapes on the coast of southern Georgia. Later, we included into our researches about paleolinguistics, well, maybe it's of course it's just a hypothesis, but it's really very interesting that you know very well that passes, in Greek means clear water, but according to our paleolinguistics, it comes from Hittite and P is a base of some toponyms and only toponyms and the names of the rivers. For example, Pso, Apsni, Apsaros, which means water, of course. Passis, Skeri, Passiska. I'm sorry for this, Mariam, etc. And Arabi river in Georgia, Eastern Georgia, Petri Arabi, Shawi Arabi, and so on. We have many Arabis in Eastern Georgia, and we had before many Fazis in Western Georgia. When later Indo-Europeans occupied those territories, there appeared some another names of the rivers: Dnep, Dunai, Danube, Don, Dno, in Georgian Done, which means level. Dinare, it's a river in Georgia. Dinivra is a stream, and Dunoba, it's melting, and so on. So we think we are planning to continue our researches. We don't know how, but we will do it somehow, because we need quite big financial support. So thank you very much for your attention, and that's all.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for this nice presentation. Now we can ask questions if you want to ask a question to the speaker. Actually, I just want to note that there are some explanations related to the sea level rising of the Black Sea and the Ballard's expedition. You know, the results of his excavation still under the discussions with the many of the objections, but we will be happy to see the final publication related to your research. Okay, questions?
If there are no any questions, of course I know about that discussions about Ballard's hypothesis, but our geologists together with a German geologist, they drilled. They got some samples from the seashore and shelf zone 2 years ago, and they dated the samples, and these dates are the same: 4.5 thousand years. So it's of course it's also interesting.
Okay, thank you very much. Actually, at the beginning we have some voice problem, but when we come to end, it was quite clear than before. Thank you very much, Professor. Any questions to him? Okay, if there is no question, I can start to my presentation. Professor, can you turn off your presentation, please?
Sure.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay, can you see my presentation? Excellent. Actually, this platform is quite new for me, and almost none of you not know who we are and what we are doing. And my subject is underwater archaeology in Türkiye. It will be something like an advertisement, actually, but it is not, because we have to tell exactly what we are doing in underwater archaeology in Türkiye, and the aim of the presentation is related to this one. When we are talking in underwater archaeology in Turkey, actually the people usually think that underwater archaeology started during the 90s by one of the American team. But it is not like this, because about 70 years before George Bass, Osman Hamdi Bey, who was the director of Istanbul Museum, it started to underwater archaeology excavation in Pharmakonisi Island, which is now in the Greek border. It was during that time in the Ottoman border. And the Ottoman Empire was one of the first countries he would start the protection of underwater archaeology in the regulations and their laws. Okay. In Turkey, we have many universities who are working on underwater archaeology, and one of them is Uludağ University. They are working on a sunken basilica at İznik Lake, which is Bursa, at the northeast of Turkey. This is one of the projects, and another one is by 9 September, 9 Eylül University of İzmir, and they have several excavations by Professor Harun Özdaş, and this is one of the institutions seriously working in this field. And another one is, made by, again, Uludağ University at Marmara Sea. And Düzce University too. Another one is in Ankara University at, again, at the eastern, the western coast of Turkey, by Professor Vasıf Şahoğlu. And another one is Serkan Gündüz by Uludağ University again at Yalova, the Marmara Sea. And another one is again agency by us and Selçuk University at Iasos Ancient City. We have several underwater survey and excavation projects there. And another one is at Dardanel, at Çanakkale, northwest of Turkey. We have an institution in Çanakkale, and they are focusing to protection of the First World War ships. They are also working on the survey. And our institution, in Akdeniz University of Antalya, we have 3 departments. One of them is Underwater Archaeology Research Center, based in Kemer of Antalya. Another one is a department, Restoration and Conservation, mainly focusing to underwater archaeological objects. And another one is our university, Mediterranean Civilizations Research Institute. We have a master program, and presently we have 35 master students in our master program. The only institution in Turkey who focused on underwater archaeology as master level. We are one of the founders of UNESCO Unity with Underwater Archaeology Network, and I was the coordinator between 2012 to 2015. You know, this unity network is one of the important institutions of UNESCO. And now we have about 45 institutional members, and 13 of them are the full member. Another one is ICOMOS, International Council of Committee of Underwater Archaeology. We are actively working for ICOMOS to protect underwater cultural heritage worldwide. And another one is CIMAS, the World Underwater Confederation. And as you know, the main of the now about 128 countries diving federations are connected to CIMAS, the World Underwater Confederation. And we have a scientific committee, and cultural heritage is one of them. And seriously, we are working on the protection of underwater cultural heritage with UNESCO. In 2023, CIMAS and UNESCO had signed an agreement to protect cultural heritage via scuba divers, plus to teach scientific diving to governmental officers related to the Ministry of Cultures. And we have a book. We have special programs for all 2-star divers, and now including Türkiye, many of the CIMAS members countries did start to teach how to protect cultural heritage to 2-star divers, special programs. Because of the agreement between two institutions, we organized several scientific diving program for underwater archaeology professionals and the workshops. By the way, we will also repeat this training program between 14 to 23 May, means 3 months later. We will have again another workshop and symposium behalf of CIMAS. And during these workshops, mainly the African countries, Minister of Culture officers have joined. They have to be a diver, they have to take their health report, and they have to support by their national UNESCO commissions. They come here, we cover their accommodation here, and we teach scientific diving and special training to cultural heritage protection. Since about 5 years, we use ROVs for deep diving archaeology studies, and we have some collaboration institutions. They build ROVs until 3,000 meters, and now we are able to use 1,000 meters capacity ROVs to excavate deep diving shipwrecks. And these are from the last year, about 18 African countries officers. On behalf of the Minister of Culture of Türkiye, we are responsible at the Turkish coastline of the Mediterranean. And until now, we have found about 410 shipwrecks. They are archaeological shipwrecks, by the way. As you know, UNESCO accepts as cultural heritage if they are older than 100 years. This is important. Our colleague from Georgia already mentioned about sea level rising. As you know, at the beginning of the Holocene period, the ocean levels were quite different than present. And Marmara Sea was a lake, and Black Sea also was a lake. And at the beginning of the Neolithic period, the sea level were quite rised, and the agency, Mediterranean Sea, connect to Marmara Sea, Marmara Lake, then lake turned to the sea, and then it connect to Black Sea, about 8,000 years. Okay, then, but just because it's very important, many of the Neolithic and early Bronze Age settlements were under the water right now, not only at the coast of Black Sea, but also at the coast of the Marmara Sea, including Aegean and Mediterranean too. So the underwater archaeology is not focusing only to find the shipwrecks or to excavate the shipwrecks, but the sunken settlements, especially sunken Neolithic and Bronze Age settlements. Some of them are maybe 20 kilometers far from the present coastline, is the feature of underwater archaeology, actually. This is about 5,000 years ago, the coastline. And because of this, Paleolithic settlements, some of the Paleolithic caves are sunken. And since about 4 years, we also work to find Paleolithic human signs at the entrances of the sunken caves, mainly at the coast of the Eastern Mediterranean, mainly Hatay city. Of course, not only because of the sea level rising, but also because of the earthquakes, there are many sunken settlements, not only at the Georgian coast, but of course at the Turkish Mediterranean coastline. For example, in our city, Antalya, there are at least 5 sunken settlements around of Keko Islands. And then, of course, shipwrecks and the other objects such as anchors are part of our study. We are lucky because we are working in the Mediterranean, and the feasibility of Mediterranean is very different than the ocean, Black Sea, or the lakes. So we have excellent feasibility usually in Mediterranean. And this is one of the shipwreck, the Roman tile wreck. When we find the shipwreck, since about 7-8 years, we use Agisev photoscan or similar orthophoto programs, and we use the photoscan technique to feasible shipwrecks in the water. And not only all 410 archaeological shipwrecks, but at least 10% of them already have photoscan programs. We have beautiful shipwrecks. This one is first century BC, the late Hellenistic, early Roman plate wreck at Adrasan. And this is the photoscan of this Roman wreck. And the single objects such as anchors, because of the anchors, we are able to understand the sea roads from Middle Bronze Age until Ottoman periods, just because of the anchors. One of important excavation of us is the earliest shipwreck of the world, Kumluca Middle Bronze Age wreck. I say earliest shipwreck, but it is not earliest anymore because we have found 2 early Bronze Age shipwrecks that are unpublished yet. I hope when we organize next symposium, I will present them. Our ingots are dated to 16th century BC, and we are able to date them because of the Egyptian wall paintings. And the depth of the wreck is between 42 to 55 meters. We use normal scuba diving, but now, since 3 years, we use ROVs to help the scuba divers in the water. This is a photo scan of the shipwreck. And not only the sunken settlements and the shipwrecks, but the coastal constructions, including the shipyards. For example, this is at Eastern Mediterranean, Dana Island, contained about 300 slipways settled on the islands, partly actually. Entrances of the slipways are in the water, but main part are on the island in an available place of the islands. Okay, you can easily find the publications, but of course, if you're interested, I can send them. These are the slipways. And these are our infrastructure. We have 2 ships. At the right-hand side, UPL is one of the biggest underwater archaeology ship of the world, contain high-tech devices. Green ship, we use the solar panel to produce electricity and fresh water from the seawater, ROVs and advanced sonars on the ship. some pictures from the ship. And of course, we have the recompression chamber. They are collaborating with Istanbul University. Every time when we work on the sea, the doctors from Istanbul University are with us for the safety reasons. We are able to use this device for 6 divers at the same time, because every day we dive to 50-55 meters. This is important for us. We have the laboratory, including XRF and similar devices on board. ROVs on the excavations. And this is our institute at Kemer of Antalya. During the winter time, we are also working for the excavations with the support of the Minister of Culture of Türkiye. These small boats and small trucks help us daily excavations because of the weather conditions. If the weather and sea let us to work during the day, we use these small boats. We go to shipwreck, we dive, and we come back to the institute. We have the laboratory also in the research center, and 2 restorators and 2 assistants of them are presently right now working on the shipwrecks. Why? Because there will be an underwater archaeology museum in Kemer of Antalya in 2025. I mean, at the end of this year, the museum will be open to the visitors. Okay, this is the end of my presentation. We use oxygen decompression, by the way, not normal air decompression during the excavations. Thank you very much. And if you want to ask a question, you can ask to me.
One quick question, please. What is the dates of that Paleolithic site, underwater Paleolithic site?
Actually, the sunken settlements are the Roman settlements. We didn't find any earlier settlement at the Mediterranean coastline yet, but we have some domes, and we will focus this summer to one of the possible Neolithic sunken settlements, by the way.
But as I hear you talk about Paleolithic site.
Yeah. Actually, Paleolithic caves are at the Eastern Mediterranean. But when I say Paleolithic caves, our colleagues from the Hatay University excavating a cave system. They are the land archaeologists, and they are digging a land cave. But in the same cave system, they have 5 sunken caves. There are 5 sunken caves, and we did start to survey, but you know, the Paleolithic settlements are not like the Roman settlements. Yes. You cannot easily see them. You have to excavate to try to understand if there is a Paleolithic human remain, or you know, you have to find cut marks by the animal bones or obsidian or stone tools, but usually their age is like 30,000 or 50,000 years old, and they already covered by the rocks. I mean, they look like a rock when you approach them. So until now, we are focusing, but we didn't find any Paleolithic cave yet. But we know there are, because all the Paleolithic settlements on the land, caves are on the land, which is like just 10 meters higher than the present sea level. There are many objects such as obsidian or stone tools or cut marks. They have to be in the water too, but we didn't find yet.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Sites in Normandy, in Croatia, and some other places. So that's why I'm interested, right?
I couldn't completely hear, but thank you very much. You can easily write actually from this too. Joan Scarlett.
Look, that was a really fascinating lecture. It's been a fascinating series so far. I have one question. Archaeology is essentially destructive. So how do you exactly deal with this problem? You're trying to protect these sites as heritages for the future, but at the same time, you're sticking things in them and getting rid of overburden that might protect them and so forth. Is there some way you can stabilize an underwater site that in the same way you would do that in an above water site?
Actually, this is an excellent question. We have several books published by the ICOMOS and CIMAS just because of the protection needs, and you are completely right. When you dig something in archaeology, you also destroy something. We are completely aware of them. You know, the approach of UNESCO to protect them in situ. But sometimes, you know, especially at the shallow waters, in the Turkish waters, the many of places are open to dive for diving tourism, and we prefer to focus to this kind of places to protect them two ways. You have to create a forbidden zone, or if you create a forbidden zone, if you don't stop the diving by maybe illegal methods, you have to excavate them and you have to put them into the museum after a restoration and conservation process. So usually our excavation sites are some sites open to diving. For example, our shipwreck, which is dated to 16th century BC, we have about 100 copper ingots. And for example, New York Metropolitan Museum, they have only one ingot. And Athens National Archaeology Museum, they have 4, but we have more than 100 in the water, and it is not 100% guarantee that we are able to protect them 50 years later. So we have to excavate them in a proper method and we have to take them to the museum. So we usually approach it to subject like this. As I said, we have 410 detected shipwrecks, but only 3 of them we are working to excavate.
Thank you. Wonderful.
You're welcome. Thank you. Any questions?
Can I ask you?
Yeah, please.
The talk was wonderful. Thank you so much. So I actually have 2 questions. One is relating to the chronology. So what is the earliest ship what you have found so far on the on the sites what you mentioned? And do you because you mentioned also the ingots. So the purpose of these material culture findings and according to the ship, was it trade or, was it connected to other activities?
Okay, actually the first one, I can start from the last one. This copper ingots came from Cyprus, and according to our research, it goes to Girit Island, to Minos Palaces. This is almost exact because we have some linear A inscriptions on the ingots. And, the Cyprus is the source of the copper, and the name of the Cyprus also came from the copper island, Cyprus. So we also have different materials, such as one of the Minos dagger. We have found it last year. And now almost 90% of them, of the shipwreck, possibly goes to, the shipwreck goes to Minos Palaces from Cyprus. The other question is, this one is 16th century BC, but our new 2 shipwrecks, I've sent to publication, they are 25th century BC. And they contain some amphora from Syria or central Levant, and they went to somewhere at the east. So now, until now, we are able to understand that the earliest shipwreck, 25th to 21st, 400 gap actually to understand because of the limited, no organic material yet to understand carbon-14 analysis. But at the end, because of the typology, we can say this is 16th to 15th century BC.
Thank you.
And I have a question.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, dear Dr. Öniz, for a very interesting presentation. I want to know, at the beginning of your presentation, you showed the picture where was seen the ruins of maybe Middle-Age churches near Bursa Iznik. Can you tell some details about that monument?
Actually, thank you very much. It is related to one of the early Christianism. It is dated to 6th century AD. 6th century AD.
Okay.
But this excavation is not my excavation, Professor Mustafa Şahin's excavation, and you can easily find enough data about the sunken church from internet. But basically, date of them is 6th century AD, and sunken because of the earthquakes.
Because of earthquakes, and
yeah.
We thought that it was Byzantine church.
I really don't know. I cannot give the correct answer about them.
Interesting.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you very much too. Okay, we can now watch the presentation of Hossein Tofighian from Iran.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Hossein Tofighian from Iran. I'm very happy to be with you. The title of my presentation is The Research of Maritime Archaeology of Shipwrecks of the Caspian Sea. Due to the changes in the level of the Caspian Sea, the lag of monsoons, the irregular flow of the waves, and the lack of sufficient research, there is not much information about seafaring, shipping, and maritime trade. According to the historical sources and archaeological studies, shipping in the Caspian Lake is not very old. The identification of a few historical shipwrecks due to the lowering of the sea level is the only archaeological evidence in this field. The present research using the library method and field survey studies the new shipwrecks of Qorok, Chamkhale, and Barsar and Amirabad in Gilan province, and Zagmer shipwreck in Mazandaran province. As the water level of the Caspian Sea drops, one after the other, the historical shipwrecks were taken out of the water and provided to the archaeologists for maritime archaeology studies. In this slide, we can see the distribution of historical ports and historical shipwrecks in the Caspian Sea. From west to east, the historical ships of Qorok, Amirabad, Chamkhale, and Barzar, and Zagmers. The first case is the historical shipwreck of Qorok in the west of Gilan province in Talish city and Qorok village. The location of the Qorok shipwreck is in the southeast of the Caspian Sea and west of Gilan province. Due to the changes in the sea level, shipwrecks, including the Qorok shipwreck, has sunk. During the last 2 decades, this shipwreck has been revealed, and with the lowering of the sea level, this shipwreck has moved further away from the coastline. This image shows the location and condition of the Qorok shipwreck in 2010, which is part of the ship in the water and other part is on land. And this is the image of the Qorok shipwreck in 2013, and more of it has been revealed. And 2018 drone image of the Qorok shipwreck. In the summer of 2019, the Qorok shipwreck is about 13 meters away from the coastline. And in the winter of 2019, it's about 25 meters away from the coastline. That is within 5 months, the water level of the Caspian Sea has dropped by about 12 meters. This is the state of the Qorok shipwreck in 2019 and before the beginning of the archaeological excavation. The remaining dimension of this ship are about 27 meter and its wide is 6 meters, and it is placed about 1 meter above the level of the sandy beach. Most of this ship is buried under the sand. There is not much information about the structure of the ship, the ship's component, its story, the origin of the timber, and the ownership of the ship. The archaeological excavation of the Qorok shipwreck was started in the winter of 2019 with the aim of of answering these questions and finding way to protect and restore it. The surface of the ship and the area around it were graded to record archaeological data. Due to the limited financial resources and the short time of excavation, and due to the sensitivities of protecting the Qorok shipwreck, 3 trenches were determined for archaeological excavation. The big trench A inside the ship and 2 trenches B and C were determined on its 2 sides. This is the Qorok shipwreck after the end of the archaeological excavation. What we can be seen in the drone image of the Qorok is half of a shipwreck that is spread out on the beach bed. There is no news about the other half of the ship, and it should be searched for. After the end of the archaeological excavation, the soil obtained from the excavation was turned to the ship. The sands of the lower part are below and the upper sands are above. During the archaeological excavation, seawater penetrated into the hull of the ship and prevented the excavation. We used a pump to drain the seawater. After draining the water inside the ship, the archaeological excavation continued. In the Qorok shipwreck, only the frames and shell of the lower part of the port side are preserved. 27 meter length and 6 meter wide, and only 2 meter height is preserved. Frames and shell are all made of Russian coniferous trees, and the stern is totally gone. Therefore, the shape of the stern and rudder remain a question. It's coated with a black resin from inside. And details of Qorok shipwreck is 4 layers: long timber and short timber, keel and keelstones, and frames inside and outside. For connecting different parts of the shipwreck, the use of steel nails, wooden dowels, and mortise and tenon. Metal bonds and steel nails are used to connect the parts of the outer planks. A keel and keelstones are preserved as well. A rectangular mast hole is observable on the keel, on the stern. The stern post is a single thick timber. We have tried to digitize the latest status of the Gorok shipwreck. For this purpose, various digital outputs were prepared from it. The Chamkhale shipwreck is the second historical ship in the Caspian Sea. The Chamkhale shipwreck is on the beach of Chamkhale in Rutsar city in the east of Gilan province. Of this wooden ship, only a few meters from the front of the ship have been exposed from the sands of the riverbank by the river flood. Due to the lack of archaeological research, we do not have much information about its structure. The next historical ship is the shipwreck of Amirabad from the Qajar period. Amirabad shipwreck is located on the coast of Amirabad in the Lahijan city, and it's located in the 10 meters deep in the sea. The Amirabad shipwreck was accidentally identified by the fisherman in 2000. This shipwreck with motor and sail is 34 meters long and 7 meters wide, and is 10 meters deep in the Caspian Sea. This Qajar ship is 1 kilometer away from the coast, and it belongs to the end of 19th century and belong to the Nasiruddin Shah Qajar. Pieces of samovar, glasses, cups, and kitchen utensils were obtained from inside this ship. Also, the wooden mast of this ship and the crushed part of its engine were brought to the shore. Ambarsar shipwreck is the fourth historical ship of the Caspian Sea in Gilan province. Ambarsar shipwreck is in Anbarsar village of Astana Ashrafiye in the east of Gilan province. The Ambarsar shipwreck is located at the entrance of the river to the sea, among the beach sands, and it's under the cover of reeds. The details of Ambarsar shipwreck is 4 layers: a long timber, short timbers, keel and keelstones, and frames inside and outside. This ship is 38 meters long and 12 meters wide. Half of the ship is in the sand and half in the water of the river. The components of the shipwreck are connected by 2 methods. First, the steel nails are 1 meter long, and the second method is wooden dowels that connected the 4 layers of the ship. Also, the outer layer of the ship was connected and stable to its body by means of circular fasteners and steel nails. Ambarsa shipwreck has at least 3 masts. 2 masts can be seen in the front part and 1 in the back part. Due to the red cover, more masts are not visible. The ship's rudder is connected to the rear part of the ship as a large rectangular timber. This rudder is located in the water. The ship's rudder is connected to the rear part of the ship as a large rectangular timber. This rudder is located in the water. The next historical ship is the Zagmaz shipwreck in the Mazandaran province. The Zagmaz shipwreck is located in the Neko city and in the east of Mazandaran province on the coastline. Zagmaz shipwreck is located on the coast and half of it is on land and half is in water. Mr. Dr. Saman Surtiji has done archaeological research on it. The structure of the Zagmaz shipwreck is different from the structure of the Gorog and Ambarsa shipwrecks. This ship is 27.5 meters long and 6 meters wide. The upper part of the ship has been destroyed and the lower part remains. And the Zagmaz shipwreck is as follows. The transom's stern frames include half frames with upper buttocks alternative. The Zagmaz shipwreck is as follows. Transom stern frames include half frames with upper buttocks alternately. The shell is made of 2 layers of planks. In fact, this ship is double shelled and double framed. 2 masts and coated from inside with a black resin, probably petrol, and Russian conference trees were used in the construction of the ship. And the fastenings is nails and wooden dowels and mortise and tenons. On the southern shores of the Caspian Sea, large ships were not built, but small and medium-sized boats were built using wooden planks. These boats, which are called karaji, are made in 2 different sizes, big and small. In this picture, you can see large karaji, which are made in large dimensions and sometimes up to 19 meters long and are used for coastal fishing. The second type of karaji is small in size, which is made of wood for use in river and marshes. These boats have been used since ancient time until today. Another type of a small boat called lutka is made of tree trunk and is made by hollowing out the inside of the tree to travel in the marsh. Today, the construction of this boat is obsolete and only a few can be seen in the steel lagoon in Anzali. This is the end of my presentation and I thank you for your attention. I hope we can have scientific cooperation in the field of underwater archaeology in the future. God bless.
Okay, we came to the end of his presentation, and it was very nice, and we also learned very much about Iranian coastal archaeology projects. Thanks God that they protect by sands. So if we have some questions, we can send an email to him. Then now we can continue to our colleagues, our distinguished colleague from Azerbaijan, Jeyhun Aliyev, researcher at the Caspian Archaeology Department of the Institute of Archaeology and Anthropology of Azerbaijan.
Greeting to all of you. Good luck with your search. The Caspian Sea has been part of the global network of the cultural connections and has served as the stage for various historical events. Large and small states have emerged along its coastal regions. Due to time constraints, I will provide only a brief overview of the historical names of the Caspian Sea and the stratigraphic locations, which you may already be familiar with. In 1839, the fortress wall and towers of Sabail became visible above the water surface in Baku Bay, taking advantage of the regression of the sea level. Archaeologists began excavation at the site. As a result, more precise information about the monuments was obtained, and hundreds of stone slabs with epigraphic inscriptions were discovered. Excavations and findings revealed that the Sabail fortress was built 34 and 35 years. In 14 years, during the construction of a dam to connect Pirallahi Island to the Absheron Peninsula, archaeological research on these monuments was first conducted by Ishak Jaferzadeh. The excavation in the eastern part of the site uncovered significant materials such as ceramics, weapons, and jewelry. The entire monument complex in the Gürgen Damba area date to the 16th centuries BC. 5 stone chest grave dating to the late Bronze and early Iron Age were studied. Over time, like other unique monuments, these graves have been destroyed. 1968, 1987 excavations. Exploratory research was conducted in the coastal areas of the Shirvan research Salyan regions, focusing on Bandovan Cape and its surrounding territories. These areas were examined by Viktor Alexandrovich Kvachidze, who identified them as the remains of the Mugan city, dating from 9th to 14th centuries. Numerous fragments of glasses and unglazed pottery from the 19th, 13th century were discovered. The materials retrieved from the seabed cure and shores included typical medieval ceramic artifacts. In the southern part of Sengimugan, Svinoy Islands, ship anchors and pottery fragments were found. Russian Norman traders and pirates of Stepan Razin operated in this region from 17th centuries, but Russian Norman traders come to Caspian Sea. Its time 19th, 11th century, engaging in naval battles and other activities. Archaeological reconnaissance in the ancient riverbeds of the Kura River, now the modern Shirvan National Park, revealed the remain of sites later named First Bandovan and Second Bandovan. Excavation at First Bandovan from 1870s and to 1875 uncovered various artifacts from the 11th, 13th century, including pottery, kilns, and ship anchors. Second Bandovan, located 20 kilometers south, was excavated between 1985 and 1987, where ceramic artifacts and glass bracelets confirmed the site's existence between the 9th and 20th centuries. Research also confirmed the locations of the ancient sites of Kushtasp and Mugan city. Underwater research by an archaeological team in the waters around Sengimugan Island yielded significant findings. In 69 naval battles occurred between Stepan Razin pirate crew, who had stayed on the island for 3 months, and Iranian ships. Several Persian vessels were sunk in this battle. Research in the area uncovered wooden remained a ship along with plain and glass pottery dating back to 17th century. In Iranian poem and historical rights, Stepan Razin named what Ustin Kurazi. Names is Ustin Kurazi in Iranian rights. In the 1960s and 1970s years, the study of Absheron monuments was by Gardashkhan Aslanov. He discovered and examined unique monuments from the search to first millennium BC in the eastern coastal region of the peninsula. Between Shualan Cape and Dübendi Cape, a medieval settlement was uncovered, yielding culture, artifacts, and joins from the 13th, 14th century. Remarkable some rock carvings from the ancient Dübendi settlement can also be observed underwater. The northeastern shores of Absheron are rich in natural and historical monuments. Lighthouse-like observation towers allow Absheron residents to detect incoming ship from the northeast and relay the information to medieval castle and fortress. One notable site in the Kotar cave in Dübendi, located 150 meters from the sea. Carving of humans, oxen, goats, and our figures can be seen on northern rock of the cave. This carving on the eastern side of Absheron Peninsula date back to early Bronze Age, 13 millenniums BC. The Dübendi settlement represent a new stage in Absheron cultural historical development, starting from the second half of the second millennium BC. Its favorable location near the sea and unique archaeological features make it an ideal tourism destination. The settlement's chronology spans from the second half of the second millennium BC to the middle of the same millennium. Among Among the unique findings are rock carving depicting humans, animals, snakes, and hunting scenes. Additionally, stone box grave dating to the late Bronze and early Age. This time 6 centuries BC, were identified at the site. In 2005 years, a survey of coastal areas was conducted, followed by exploratory excavation by archaeologist Idris Aliyev. After gathering a general scientific description, and expedition was organized in 2008 year with a focus on underwater archaeology. Research began near Gürgen Cape in the eastern part Abşeron Peninsula, 1 kilometer north of the Gürgen Lighthouse, in a place called Gürgenşehir. Fragments of glazed and unglazed ceramic vessels were found along the shore. At a depth of 5 meters underwater, 5,500 and to 800 meters from the coast. The remains of a medieval settlement were discovered. A cemetery was also recorded at a deep 5-6 meters, 1-2 kilometers offshore. However, due to lack of equipment, future studies were not possible. The materials recovered mainly consisted of ceramic fragments from the 11th, 13th century. Near the coast from the sea, numerous monuments date back to 13th, 14th millenniums BC were identified. These monuments were mainly burial mounds and stone box graves. Along with archaeological excavation, traceological, anthropological, and the important analysis we conducted. Underwater research remain a vital part of studying the archaeological, architectural, and artistic monuments along the western shores and deeps of the Caspian Sea. This led to the proposal to establish a Caspian archaeology department within Institute of Archaeology and Ethnography, Anthropology of the Azerbaijan National Academy of Science. In 2024 the department began addressing emerging issues by analyzing scientific data on Azerbaijan's coastal and underwater monuments. Efforts were made to resolve challenge, including visa conditional and equipment shortage to facilitate exploratory research. Collaborative projects with diving organization and underway to provide necessary equipment and engage local divers in archaeological research, ensuring they activate participation. I want about Sabail Castle make little information. For the first time, several of these inscribed stones were taken out from under the water in 1761 by Alexander Ivashintsev. The head of a special naval expedition conducting research in the Caspian Sea. He took photographs of the drawing on the stone and sent them to Peterburg's Archaeological Society. In the following years, several more such drawings and stones layers were found. During the years 1939, 1969, up to 700 such stones were found and taken out of the water. The stones currently exhibited in the country yard of the Shirvanshah Palace are precisely those stones. The inscriptions are in Persian Arabic. I have many information, but I wait suallarınızı yani benze verebilirsiniz.
Çok teşekkür ederim. Thank you very much, Ceyhun Aliyev. It was a very nice presentation. We have actually lack of time, and if we have the questions to the speaker, we can wait. Otherwise, we can start the closing part, I guess, Narmi, isn't it? Any question to speaker? Okay, it seems no question. Çok teşekkür ederim Ceyhun Bey. Thank you very much. Yes, Narmi, this is your turn.
Hakan Hocam, thank you everyone for this fascinating presentation, and Hakan, Professor Hakan, thank you so much for accepting our invitation to chair the session and the event. So I've been wondering, can we open briefly to a discussion broad, if we have anyone would like to give a question, maybe as a wrap-up questions, maybe if anyone would like to give to our speakers from 5 countries. I might go, maybe just as the conclude maybe question. So we talk about these wonderful presentations, but also it sort of shows that we have quite a lot of challenges throughout the presentation. We can see that the field still fragmented, and we need more work on that. So how we, as our network, the Caucasus network, we are trying all the time to build this collaboration with scholars. How we can actually to start collaborating on that. Maybe Hakan, Hocam, would you like to, how we can actually bring this, make it sustainable between Caucasus, Turkey, Iran, and the broader?
Yeah, thank you very much. This is a wonderful idea, actually, Narmin. And as we spoke before, you know, the people are quite bored from the online meetings, such as Zoom, Teams, Google, and etc. Always the face-to-face meetings are better to connect strong. And in my opinion, in this year or at the beginning of next year, we have to organize a face-to-face meeting somewhere in these countries. The London is quite far, but it could be in Turkey too. We can also come to Georgia, Magda, or Azerbaijan to Baku, the beautiful place. So in my opinion, we have to organize a face-to-face meeting to start to strong collaboration.
Indeed.
Yes, indeed, it will be really great to have a meeting face to face, and we should try to manage and organize here in Georgia. I will have communication with my colleagues, and maybe we should manage here in Georgia. And in general, it's of course it's very important to have a contact with each other, to think about project together about, for example, in case we work on Lexi, it will be really great if we will have much more contact with Turkey, some other countries. We have some, as I told you a bit before, but with the Caspian Sea, with the scientists so far we're working in the Caspian Sea issues as well. But because this is a big system, we know very well, and Caspian Mediterranean, this one basin, there was, if you remember, some international symposiums organized by Canadian and other country scientists through IGWA, if you remember that. So I'm really happy to meet you. It's an honor for me. It was an honor for me to participate. And one more question and request, please. Where can I see your presentations or the articles? For example, Mr. Hakan, can I see somewhere your? I don't know. It's shame for me, but I don't know that article where your, for example, part of your presentations are published.
Actually, I couldn't catch some of the last verse.
Have you already published somewhere information you presented to me today?
Mm-hmm. I think question to you, Hakan Hocam.
If you completely understand, can you also repeat it? Because I couldn't catch some of them.
Where can I find that information about your finds and your discoveries you presented today?
Actually, just send an email to me and I can send all the information easily, no problem at all.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome. I will wait your email.
Yeah, thank you. And if you like, I can send you our article as well, which will be appeared very soon.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Shall we? I think we have already passed the 2 hours. So thank you very much, everyone. And as Professor Hakan, do you have a word, or we just conclude the?
Yeah, actually, the last words are very simple, and the idea is amazing, and it is wonderful to see the many distinguished young colleagues from many different countries, and I hope to see face to face all of them in a short time. Thank you very much, Narmin. Thanks to all of our distinguished colleagues.
Thank you very much, everyone, and all our speakers, moderator, speakers from across the 5 countries, from the Caucasus, Turkey, Iran, and it was wonderful to have you. And we hope it will be the first start of collaboration in the future, as a maybe edited volume, the publications, conferences, and many more in the future, and to tackle maritime archaeology, the challenges and the preservation, the safeguarding, documenting of the site, which is under risk of under threat. So thank you, everyone. So we'll see you in our March event next month, and please follow us in our social media. And on behalf of the Caucasus Network, we thank you all, and see you in the future, very near future. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.